All right. Happy Thursday. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Change Your Lives, hosted by yours truly, Deontay Burton. Got an awesome show tonight. Tonight we're going to be asking, are we too busy to use common sense? This show was inspired about really what's going on in this day and age, about a lot of the decision making that's going on. And I think people using a lot of common sense. They're using off business, off money, off feelings, and not taking, in consideration good old common sense or what's right and what's wrong. So I want to have this show tonight just to discuss that and everything. Before we get started, I want to say what's up to my awesome producers, DJ Lab and Slick 316.
Another Thursday, brother.
Another Thursday. Hey, listen, as always, before we start the show, we rehashed previous week. We're still in the middle of the pandemic. Right. They got a lot of vaccines and stuff coming out and everything, and hopefully we get through everything clear. I talked to a lot of people and I asked them, would you be open to taking the vaccine? And typically everybody say the same thing, hell no.
Right.
But it seems like everybody, once they get a touch of corona, they taking all kind of experimentals.
So they change their mind once they get that touch, huh?
I mean, seriously, I'm like, I guess it's just that notion of not having it, but it seems like once you get it, everybody in the moment want to try this new experimental shot of gasoline they're going to shoot into or whatever. So that's been pretty unique. I had a couple of close family members that have had it, and I know they're old school. Now I don't want to try it, but actually they had to give them some experimental drugs, and they're doing much better now.
That's good.
But that was one of the things, I just remember that thought process, hearing people say that. So everybody, as we said before, remember all the stuff you learned in pre-K and kindergarten. Wash your hands, keep social distance, don't spit when you talk, and be safe out there overall. Next, I also want to talk about last week we had the debut of the Dollar Hour.
Yeah.
Last week was an awesome show, man. I want to give a big shout out to both of my producers, Lab and Slick 316, for making it happen. Man, it was a great experience and stuff. I feel about dumb. What did we talk about last week in the Dollar? I be so hyped up with everything.
It's actually slipping my mind too.
What do we talk about? Oh, 10 ways on how to make somebody a partner, a business partner.
To choose your partner.
10 ways to choose a business partner. And it was a great show. Had a great dialogue. I gave a lot of great information out, and had a great response from you guys and stuff like that. But that was the debut of the Dollar Hour. And like I told Lab, kind of want to rotate each week.
Twice a month.
We're doing it twice a month, man. But to that point, I got an assignment. I got to go down out of town for next week, so we won't have no show next week.
Okay.
We won't have no show next week, so I'm gonna take one of those little few weeks off and everything. But I got a little assignment. I got a little contract. Got a little change coming in.
Change is more important than anything. You can't be Mr. Short Dollar not go get the dollars.
Well, this damn change right here free. I got to kind of rattle in my pocket. So there won't be any show next week and everything like that. We'll probably pick everything up the week after that and stuff. So, but it was awesome, man. Again, I appreciate y'all. I felt pretty good about it and stuff. Had a good response from the people on that channel. But if you haven't, make sure you go to my other YouTube channel, Mr. Short Dollar, where we talk about personal finance, business, entrepreneurship, and real estate investing. Great show. Again, 10 ways to choose your business partner. And if you missed it, just go to that YouTube channel, check out that video and everything. Also, just want to let everybody know, and I've had a good response. I was just looking at my numbers prior to come out here.
Okay.
I released my first funnel.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so the first video is based off Change Lives, the ways how to stop procrastination.
Okay.
And so that was my first sales funnel. I did it, set it up. I boosted 2 different videos.
Okay.
I got videos boosted in New York, Houston, and Atlanta.
Okay.
And I had 2 people. It got ignited this morning. Well, authorized this morning. And I've had 2 people. They went in and signed in already.
Okay.
So so far so good.
You gotta do LA too now.
Yeah. Well, again, it's nothing in the world is free.
That's right.
And so paying the advertising dollars, and man, I'm so proud of myself because what I've learned, just the gist of it, I think that I have been going about things and not probably the most optimal path with my marketing of my business.
Okay.
And I think this new path with making the funnels, even with majestic, and we'll talk about it after the show lab, and I'll do some stuff about it later. With introducing it on Mr. Short Dollar and everything.
Okay.
I mean, I think this new way I'm going about everything
It's better.
gonna be next level.
Okay.
Gonna be next level, and already on a good level. But ain't now going a little higher and higher. You're a short man. Hey, you know what I'm looking up.
That's right. I know.
But,
I know
man,
the feeling.
Real proud of myself, brother. Hey, short man rule the world.
That's right.
But real talk. I'm real proud of myself. It's been a long time coming. We're doing that and everything like that. So yeah, it is out there.
Okay.
So if you see, my big head on my videos and anything like that coming up, hey, that's what's going on and everything. So yeah, I did that about 2 a.m. This morning, blasted it and everything, and I'll check my numbers before I came. So yeah, that first funnel is out, and I got some more stuff coming down the pipe. So just keep posted. Now listen, going into tonight's show again, we're talking about are we too busy to use common sense, or have we forgot to use common sense? And again, I kind of base this show a lot to do with, and I was just a smart guy to grab probably the most dry cigar in my humidor. About to grab me a Black and Mild with this thing falling apart. But with everything that's going on right now with the pandemic in the world, you see a lot of people, a lot of decisions that have been made in regards to, I would say maybe how the economy is going, money, business related and stuff like that. And I think back in what was that, February, when me and my family went on a trip to the Bahamas.
Okay.
And there was this threat of the coronavirus.
Right.
And everything and stuff. But it's like maybe a case or two in New York, and you just this, that, and that, and people cause that was a Valentine's Day weekend. And just really wasn't a big thing.
Right.
Just something that you knew that was there. And how people were just like, nah, ain't no big deal. And hell, in a matter of a month, the whole country was turned upside down. The whole world was turned upside down. I mean, it was going crazy.
It was exactly a month.
Yeah, because it's like the whole country of Italy was dead.
Right.
and he said hitting everywhere else, and it just spread like hot fire and everything. But what was unique about it just seemed like that reluctancy to move on it. I'm not a scientist, I'm not an economist. I can't sit here and say if we'd have moved faster, we would have did a whole lot better. I would hope to say that was the case, but I can't really say that with certainty because I don't know for sure. But I will say that I felt that we reacted much slower than we could have reacted. And to that point, I think that kind of put us in a hole. And then once we made decisions to let's counter it, let's shut down this, that, and that, I think we just didn't stay shut down long enough.
Okay.
To recover. And now we're back opened up, and we can't go back to that because, hell, we're just trying to recover from what 2 weeks did, as opposed to and go through it again. And I think a lot of it's based on just straight common sense. Like, look, man, this ain't right. One death is too many.
Right.
Even when people go through statistical data and everything and say, well, hey, listen, if you look at this, you got more people dying from the flu and all that other kind of stuff. At the end of the day, one death is too many.
Right.
And I don't think anybody wants to be any kind of guinea pig to say, okay, hey, we want to do this and do that. And from our leadership at the federal, state, and local level, for the most part, been lost.
Yeah.
And a lot of it been rooted on, some of it business and some of it just like, this ain't anything.
Ain't no big thing. It's a hoax.
Yeah, you think about, even with the president, his first couple, State of the Union, who needs a mask? I don't need a mask and all that kind of stuff. And they were going places and doing stuff. And, it was just sending such a crazy message because we talk a lot about blind influence. You know what I mean by that, blind influence? You have a lot of people that when you're at a certain level, you can be the president, an entertainer, business person, people just listen to what you say. And a lot, they don't really go into researching and trying to find facts and stuff like that. And unfortunately, when that happens, man, you got people making crazy decisions without knowing what's going on and not using good old fashioned common sense.
Yeah.
Not thinking of whatever. I'm gonna share a story that happened today. Uniquely, I don't know if you guys seen it in Gwinnett County. They got this guy. I seen it. Slick U posted the police officer on the porch,
Okay.
and the female's on the porch, and the officer grabbed it. Slick, I think you posted it, and the officer was going to grab him. It was a white officer and like 3 black females, and I don't know what happened, but they show him like it went to the point where, you know, put your arm behind your back under arrest.
Mm-hmm.
She arguing with him and everything like that. Hey, now I will say this too. Her friends did a lot of barking with her, but when he pulled out that taser, everybody stood up and got out of the way.
Right.
You know, all her whole crew. Well, you can't do this.
Right.
He pulled out that taser.
Right.
All of them, hey, I ain't seen nobody help her then.
Oh, okay.
So he done hit her with the taser. You know, he trying to, lock her up, and everybody like, you can't do this, you can't do this. Long story short, he handcuffed her, and everything didn't went off. It was one young lady posted on there, like, we need to see the whole story, know what's going on. And you got different stories. Hey, he just went there, they was in their own yard, they were being loud, and he had no right. But, you don't know. You just see the 50-second clip, and you don't know what started. So I made a post there. We do need to find out what all going on. I got one sister put a post about I was kissing A. I was a coon.
What?
You just went all ballistic on me.
Right.
And I responded with it. You didn't even read what I posted.
Right.
And like I always tell you, I'm one of the few people that's active out here, and I know it's not that you defending the police officer.
Right.
What I try to get a lot of time, people put traps on you to sit here and join a fight that ain't a valid fight to join, so they can make your voice less valid.
Right.
She said, man, you always complain. See, we caught you in a lie last time. You were arguing for them folks.
Right.
And that was the thing.
And that wasn't nothing to do with
exactly. And then when you have a legitimate thing that you want to say something about, they go back to it before, you jumped on their stuff, you didn't know what was going on. The trap ain't always got to have cheese on it.
Right.
And the trap ain't going to necessarily have a trap road on it. But when you go jump into it without knowing, and that's one of the biggest things like we talk about in the show, thinking, using common sense, let me find out what's going on. Understanding that when you see a police officer arguing with a young lady and locking her up, we look at it like, okay, he ain't got no business doing it, he ain't doing his job right, but we don't know what happened.
Right.
I don't want to see any sister locked up. I don't want to see nobody go through this, and I definitely don't want to see no parent lose no child or whatever, this, that, and that.
That's true.
But the thing of it is, we still have to know what happened. And I think people just are so quick to want to judge and do certain things, we forget about common sense. Because even on that posting, the young lady said, well, you got the right to do this, you got the right to do that. And I'm going to be very, very honest with a lot of people. Look, y'all not damn attorneys. Y'all not attorneys. I mean, y'all really, and just keep it real, to put emphasis, you're not a damn attorney, half y'all can't damn spell. So when you putting this shit on here about what's your rights, and you got, man,
When your spelling ain't, your punctuation ain't good.
It's that North American Ebonic.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That North American Ebonic.
You type it like you text it.
Yeah,
You ain't spell the word out using WATF and WTF and all that old crap.
Yeah, you sitting like, hold on. I understand. But you have to be from the melanin persuasion to actually have an idea
Right.
of the language that's wrote on there. And they be putting these laws and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, man, trust me, man. Y'all can't even damn spell
Right.
half of the stuff you trying to explain.
Right.
And again, there ain't no shot at nobody. That's just me being real. When you sit here saying, well, you know your rights, and you sitting there arguing about certain things, you really don't know your rights. You really don't know. You really speaking on what you heard. And then, I tell people a lot of times, man, avoid the encounter. Use common sense. Certain things you can argue later on. But, sitting there trying to debate with a police. Yeah, especially even trying to do it with a police officer that he probably doesn't know the law either.
Right.
But he has that authority right then and there. And you got to let that go. You're going to sue, complain everything the next day, but you definitely gonna win that right then and there. And that was just one of them things I just stated, find everything out. Man, she went hard on me.
He went hard.
Hey, and then I put a response. Response a little lengthy. I ain't reading all that.
Of course not. She wants you to read your
That's why I said exactly. Reading is hard. Looking at a dang 30-second video is easy.
Easy.
You
right.
made my point.
Right.
You made my point. She even put it on do your research. Once I gave a response, I ain't reading all that. I just put something that required 1% of effort.
Right.
She didn't want to do that.
She ain't want to do that. She felt she had made her point, and it wasn't no need to talk no more. And a lot of times you don't be making your point.
You don't be making your point, and to be honest with you, you really don't even know your damn point.
Right.
And people are very comfortable with being in a certain position where they can always say certain things, but then when they get into an arena where they have to articulate themselves to other people, especially from another persuasion, they get all quiet and nimble because they don't know what to say. And again, because at that time, that's when you're going to be asked, hey, look, explain yourself. Explain yourself. What do you mean by that and everything? Because I asked the sister, what did I say? Anything,
right.
What I'm saying, out of pocket. Couldn't say nothing to me. Couldn't say nothing to me and everything.
All she read was, we need to find out the whole story. And then she went in from there. That's all. I'm guaranteeing you, that's all she saw.
Called your boy a coon.
Sometimes, social medias, man, they get it. I mean, I had a discussion today with somebody on social media on one of my posts. And, I mean, a long discussion. I'm always with it. I'm always with a discussion. But it wasn't nothing, disrespectful. It was just, hey.
Dialogue.
Yeah. And once I finished breaking it down to the brother, he's like, you know what, you right. And he moved on. But it wasn't even a post that we needed to really have a discussion about, I felt. But since you want to, I got time. I'm on my lunch break. Why not?
Well, the hard part of everything is a lot of times people just don't want to admit or understand that everybody don't see the world the way I do.
Exactly.
And being there, respect another person's mind, that's just a show that you're a mature adult. And when you sit here and just call somebody out their name because they see the world different from you, especially if their opinion is not oppressing anybody, but it's just a different point of view, people just gotta, But it also shows the actual length or their intellect. And as you as a person with some common sense or with any kind of knowledge, you got to be smart enough to know, hey, look, I don't need to be talking to damn fool.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, two fools arguing, you don't know which one is, quote unquote, the real fool.
Yeah.
So, especially from the outside looking. So that's why you have to be smart enough to understand that, look, this person, no matter how I say it, write it, or draw it, they're not going to see it. They're stuck on it. And you got to be smart enough to just say,
yeah.
Look, man.
Luckily, this brother, I've had discussions with him before, so he's very intellectual. So I told him, I say, I respect your intellect, or else I wouldn't waste my time having this discussion with you, because I would feel like I would lower my IQ. The more I teach you, the dumber I get.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. You get to deal with some of your cousins.
Yeah.
Boy, you got to pull out that magic mark and them Crayolas.
And John Stick speaking down.
Lord have mercy. Hey, again, this is Change Live, hosted by yours truly, Deontay Burton. Tonight's show, we're talking about, are you too busy to use common sense? So what happened to common sense? So we'll have a good discussion in regards to the way a lot of things are going in the world today, where people actually moving without thinking and saying certain things without just using good old-fashioned common sense. So make sure you go to the Changing Lives. Again, where we talk about motivation, personal development, professional development. We're streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. We're Instagram and Periscope. Check me out on IG at Deontay_77. Make sure you go to the YouTube, Facebook page, and subscribe to both. Make sure we go to the YouTube channel and hit that bell so you can get notification anytime I upload a video also. It's well over 200 videos and everything, so make sure get all your good information, make you feel better videos. Again, I put out one last week that did pretty good. We was talking about, just being prepared. Don't necessarily wait till your job lay you off. We got a lot of people that are going through some challenging times right now, and I just want to encourage people to be proactive. So that was a good video. Regardless, don't wait for them to lay you off. Prepare. Mm-hmm. Just have you some kind of strategy. You sitting around, they say they might lay us off, and they've been talking, but we ain't heard nothing. And the supervisor came and said something today, but we ain't for sure. Don't you sit there and damn wait for them to tell you. Man, don't do that. Get your ass and look at your resume. Go on
Yeah.
Indeed. Spend 30 minutes a day just going on Indeed. Don't sit there and wait for them to fire you.
You can filter it out on Indeed. You ain't got to sit there and look through
Hey.
all the jobs. You
Hey.
just go what you looking for and get it on Indeed.
Yeah, it is not that you're trying to be negative and talking up all the crazy stuff right here. You're just preparing.
Mm-hmm.
Prepare 30 minutes a day. You know, spend a couple days just tighten up that resume. You know, then spend a couple days look on a couple different job boards and just say, hey, just to look and whatever. You might surprise yourself. Damn, I got some more skills. Hey, I'm underpaid.
Right.
And just being proactive. So, you know, that was a good video I put out there and everything. So I just want you guys subscribe to the channel. You know,
And he ain't talking about the ones where you going to work and ain't nobody mention nothing about laying nobody off, but then that at the end of the day on a Friday at 4 o'clock they say, hey, we gotta let you go.
I ain't talking about a surprise. I'm talking what they telling your ass.
Yeah.
They shorting the hours,
Yeah.
furloughing. That shit I'm going in one damn direction. The hole in the boat.
Right.
And they're just doing like this.
Right.
And you just got to decide when you going to walk the plank.
Yeah.
Yeah, shit.
Right.
We trying to do this. We trying to do that. Now, everybody missing work and losing hours except the supervisor and everybody in the office.
He covered.
Yeah, everybody else.
For some reason, he want to learn what you doing.
Yeah, come on now. Now, here the kicker. His wife or son started
That's how
working.
working that.
I got some horror stories. Oh, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, check those out. Got a lot of great videos and stuff on there on Changing Lives. So please check it out. Like I said, one that did real well was the one we talked about going to school virtually. So, you know, you get a chance to check that out and stuff. So, like I said, well over 200 videos. And please take advantage of all of them that's on there.
Let me throw out a question to you about this topic.
Sure.
Do you think, in your own judgment, that common sense, not in the generation, not in today's kids, just in general, is lost? Better judgment is lost out here.
No, I don't think it's lost.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's lost. I think that you have was probably throwing everything off, to be totally honest with you. I don't think it's lost. I think that decision making has changed, and I think that what's happened, we used to be guided more by common sense, and now we've came more to that middle ground between, you know, that greed and bad decision making to common sense. Like it was just like that was far right, but now it's like the right coming more even.
Okay.
Where we saw, you know, putting other things, you know, like money, jobs, greed, all that kind of stuff kind of went close. But I don't think it's lost. I just think that the other side is used a lot more.
Okay.
Because I think at the end of the day, we're not living in a world of just total chaos and anarchy. You know, you got bad stuff happening, don't get me wrong. I mean, and you see that on the news all the time. But I still think the vast majority of people out here are just good people.
Okay.
You know, they make bad decisions here and there, make good decisions here and there. But I think that it's just that, especially now with just from leadership, it ain't the best.
Okay.
You know, because the decisions are made on numbers and money as opposed to what's right and wrong, how people and stuff like that. And I think it's been given more light
Okay.
with what's going on and stuff.
I just was wondering, like, do you think, like, you know, do you think that people sit back and think about it before they do it, or they just do it? The hell with it. Yeah.
Some do, some don't. I can't. It's kind of. I don't want to get into. Well, I can't honestly say just from my opinion, which one is more of the other. I just personally think that people don't use common sense a whole lot more than they did before. But I think the vast majority of people, you know, do the right thing. Most of that gotta do because they ain't got no other damn choice.
Right.
But I do think that it's just more prevalent.
Okay.
You know, where the people actually use another way of thinking to be their compass on how they make decisions and stuff. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I just, you know, I think Donald Trump, I'll probably be unpopular. I think he's a brilliant businessman. But I think you're actually seeing the residual of him being in that executive office from a competency standpoint. You know, and how everything has actually came about from the policies and especially with the pandemic, how it was done, where you got somebody that probably knows how to handle public policy, know how to run local and city governments. They probably could have been a lot more reactionary
Okay.
with doing that. I personally think that he was probably the least qualified to be president out of probably the top 2 or 3 candidates in that election from the Republican side.
Right.
But he was most popular.
Right.
And we don't vote on competency or merit. We vote on what? Popularity. And that's all that matters. I think even from the Democratic side, I think Joe Biden is probably the most qualified of all the candidates. I'm going to be honest, like I said before, I thought Herman Cain, rest in peace, was by far the most formidable opponent to Barack. Because that brother was a genius. He was wrong color for that party.
Right.
That man was sharp, man. He was sharp. I used to listen to him and Neil Bortz. I mean, he just.
I used to listen to Neil Bortz. I used to love listening to Neil Bortz, but once he started going more, because he was center.
Yeah.
Like he was real. Like he would get on both sides, but once he started going more right, and once he got ready to retire, I stopped listening to him because he was sounding just like Sean Hannity to me, and that just wasn't the same.
Well, the thing of it is, Sean Hannity and what's my other man, Rush Limbaugh.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them guys. Rush used to be an R&B DJ, and people evolve and do a lot of stuff, and they start changing for better or worse, which is an opinionated term. They get away from what's called common sense because, again, you can't. Sometimes you ain't nothing but an illness, a situation away from being broke, and people forget about that. That's when we start talking about using common sense.
Right.
Like, that's not my issue. Shit, you don't know.
Right.
Look how many people were affected by this dang pandemic that didn't know, man. You look at, let's use myself for example, that I spent pretty much all of 2019 prepping to be like I'm Les Brown.
To be Les Brown.
Mr. Short Dollar was ready to get on stage, got
Okay.
speeches, doing everything. Pandemic hit. Hell, ain't nobody doing no kind of public speaking.
Right.
So you got to learn how to pivot and adjust. And look how many people it took, just say entertainers and all these other kind of folks that just ain't making no money now.
Right.
Comedians and all this other kind of stuff. And even they were still like, let's say they kind of lacking now, even trying to do like online stuff and everything like that. But it's still,
Right.
they're extremely restricted.
Right.
Ain't no 80, 90,000 arenas and stuff like that and stuff. You may try to do this and stuff online, but be honest with you, what they're showing with them, to be totally honest with you, is that they pretty much were allowed to do what they were allowed to do.
Right.
So now you got a lot of them, man. Think about how many entertainers and comedians you don't even hear from now.
True. Yeah. The pivot is sometimes hard.
What you about to ask me? Hell no, they ain't doing a damn thing. Hell no.
I'm gonna ask you that.
Hell
I
no.
slid on by that.
They working on their children books. Shit. Hell no, they ain't doing a damn thing. A damn thing.
Okay.
If you got your music, you can release it, get some YouTube or some streams or something like that. You able to do that, great. But outside, I'm talking about just being able to do shows and stuff. It's out, man. It's over, man. It's over. Not over, but, and really, to be honest with you, if you are independent and you can't do no shows or whatever like that, I mean, just imagine how, man, that bag done went to a Crown Royal ball bag. You done went for that big old brown bag. To that little damn purple bag with a drawstring.
Right.
Chang-a-lang-a-lang. Yeah, there you go.
You ain't had nothing less than 100 in your
Yeah,
pocket.
there you go. You got
one,
couple quarter and a little sack of reefer. That's all they got up in there. The new bag.
Right.
But that's what hey man, and I think that's changed a lot of stuff. And again, people just making certain decisions, just that were emotional based. That wasn't necessarily being rational or being based off, right or wrong or just morality. Hey man, that's one of them things and stuff. It's just how it is. But again, this has changed a lot. Hosted by yours truly, Deontay Burton. Tonight's show we're discussing whatever happened to are we too busy to use common sense? And again tonight we're rooted into a lot of things that have been going on with the pandemic. How everybody been able to reshuffle and do certain things, and a lot of stuff just come out of it in regards to, just businesses shutting down, everybody getting all these new PPP and idle loans, knowing you don't want to deal with the feds, but whole opportunity of getting all these hundreds of thousands of dollars,
Right.
knowing you ain't got no more business than the man in the moon, but because you got the opportunity to get it,
Right.
it outweighs common sense. So, we're talking about it. Let's look at what is common sense. Common sense by definition is good sense and judgment used in practical matters.
Okay.
So just pretty much is how you using what you think from a moral standpoint. Hey, what's right and what's wrong, and you just talk, through your family, life experiences, and just overall learning. You kind of look at it. Grandma, when you're young as you are, say 3, 4 years old, grandma would say, "What? Don't touch that hot stove." You sitting over there like hot. Want to do it? Boy, don't touch that hot stove. I go touch it. Damn, I'm crying. Hot. Told your little dumb ass don't touch it.
That hot stove, right?
Now common sense done taught me.
Right.
I'm a damn fool. I go over there and touch it again.
Right.
Because again, now I know and everything, and that's just those things that that you learn and you see and everything, knowing. Okay, and typically, from a common sense standpoint, decision making, I always use my old rule: if you got to think twice about it, don't do it.
Okay.
And those kind of things that naturally, it seem right, and you got to see it and say, well, I don't feel this should be. It's probably wrong.
Okay.
If you got it, because internally, a lot of times people don't necessarily won't actually deal with certain things and stuff, but you got like a little clock or something inside you, like, no, I'll do that now, man. Don't worry about it, this, that, and that. Just and everybody, I don't never try to flash to people what's right and what's wrong, but I do think it's something internal in you.
Right.
That,
They'll tell you.
Yeah, they'll tell you, hey, that's probably not the best thing to do. And we look at a couple of factors in people's lives that kind of craft how you got common sense. You have certain experiences like successes, failures, triumphs, and disappointments that kind of, help craft that in terms of, those things that you, they can craft those little items in terms of common sense. Also, you have certain things where you're looking at, basically, like we said, what's right and what's wrong. And we look at things that, let's say it's fair, is it illegal, is it oppressive?
Right.
And, just going back, looking at common sense, I'm going to tell you something I seen the other day. My son was having a live stream with Akon.
Okay.
And they were talking about him doing a song with Tekashi 6ix9ine
Right.
because he was a snitch.
Uh-huh.
And Akon just like, hey, man, he was a young kid and everything like that. And I thought he had a very valid point because my son was sitting there saying he broke the code. And he said, man, y'all talking about code. You an old man,
Right.
like, that ain't, you ain't in the street. Like, how can I put it, when you start looking at it in terms of like, hey, somebody a snitch and you doing this kind of stuff, how can you be arguing about, he kept saying, well, my son kept saying, you got certain morals in a street code, these are morals, but how can you have morals when you talk about doing something illegal?
Right.
Now you might have a
now
you might have an honor code.
Motherfucker, I'm sorry, excuse my friend. People will do illegal stuff and swear they are the moralist person walking.
Hey man, I hear you.
I'm just telling you.
I hear you, but that's why if that was the deal, you wouldn't be going to jail for it.
I'm just telling you.
I get it. Like I say, the whole thing about we got a street code and this, that, and that, and all that kind of stuff. When you're just say you selling dope, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you selling dope, and you sitting there saying, okay, this is the code we gonna live by, but you turn around and sell dope to your partner mama, or say somebody mama that that she's a mother and she got kids at home, but you selling dope because you quote unquote got to feed your family. At the end of the day, you negatively impacting somebody else's family. But if you're
for generations to come, maybe
for generations to come and everything, but I'm just saying like that ain't right, and so. We can say we got an honor code among thieves. And like Akon said, at the end of the day, if you a true street person, that little kid was an entertainer. And the real gangsters that went to jail for that, they're the only ones really, they not mad at him. They, like he said, they mad at themselves because they knew better than bring that boy in there.
with him anyway.
Because people that actually into that stuff, you a real street cat, you only going to deal with guys they going to live like that.
Right.
You bring somebody in that he gonna tell on everybody.
That's
You knew that, and the only reason why you did that, why? Because of money.
Right.
And that was the thing over there. So you start talking about codes and stuff. You can't be sitting here looking like, yeah, this is the honor code and all that kind of stuff. No.
Ain't no code among thieves from what I heard, right?
Hey, man, what talking about? This is the principles and all that kind of stuff. No, man, this is illegal. This is illegal. We can sit here and try to debate that all day and night and say that.
Forget the illegal part. It destroys families. It destroys, and I've seen it firsthand. We've all seen it. Our age have seen it firsthand. It destroys lives, regardless of if it being illegal or not. You know what's gonna impact this person. You know it's gonna impact them forever.
Let me tell you something. Well, we ain't gonna say no names, but you see, you got a lot of these entertainers out here now. Everybody done got older, and they not making hit records no more, and now they done got a compass, and they out here arguing for reparations and all this other kind of stuff. Well, no, real like you see T.I. and all them guys sitting there. What the hell I'm talking about? I ain't saying no name, but arguing for reparations. And let's be honest with you. If anybody need to do reparations, he need to get reparations over there at the Bankhead. Because hell, last time I went to Woodson Creek, which is Grove Park, John Kerry. Them kids, so they can't damn read. And you start talking about the whole community. Everybody talking about what? Selling dope and doing all kind of illegal stuff. But now we get a moral compass. We want to go ask these white folks for money because of slavery. Man, come on. Let's go fix these little kids that can't damn read. Because at the end of the day, that's what hurt us more than anything. Because at the end, we can go back to say, hey, and again, this is my opinion, which I think is a fact, though. We can sit here and look at what happened to us years ago, and I won't disagree that it does have a long-term effect in regards to slavery, Jim Crow, and all that with us now. But right now, we have a lot of opportunities to get educated and do a lot of things. And when you go on the west side and you see the kids over there, you know, I'm talking about what shit. I'm on these schools all the time. What, 30%?
You still got a house over there, so it ain't like you don't be there.
Well, 30%. I'm saying 30%. Even me going to these schools dealing with these kids. You know, you're talking about 30% of all third graders in the state of Georgia. I think it's like maybe 15 to 20%, like the city of Atlanta, reading on a particular grade level, and all that kind of stuff. They ain't got nothing to do with no damn Lois in London.
Right.
Come on, man.
Right.
Come on now. It got everything to do with rapping about trapping, pimping, hoeing, and killing. Hey, man, I ain't never heard no alphabet rap. I ain't never heard no algebra rap. Huh?
Right.
When last time you heard that?
No, I haven't.
On reading on Sesame Street? Shit, come on now. We sit here, though, we start talking about this common sense. We're pushing one thing about the white man and all that kind of stuff. And God knows I ain't trying to get that off them, but I am saying this. Hell, we going to be accountable.
Right.
How the hell are we pushing for reparations? And, man, we don't say, hey, you done made a career. I'll poison your people. I'll poison your people. What the hell common sense in that at?
Right.
But see, nobody want to talk about that. Everybody want to blow that out because when we talk about accountability, when we look at that man in the mirror, it's painful. That can be with our lives, our careers, our weight, everything. We say, shit, man, I shouldn't. It's easier.
Right.
Man, you know, they be putting stuff in the food. Yeah. No, you be putting it in your mouth.
We putting it in your mouth.
Yeah, that was
I
going
like
on. Yeah. and at the end of the day, we don't want to sit here and look at that kind of stuff to say, hey, maybe I'm the cause or we the cause of that. Come on now. You sit there and look at it, you know, you from the Chi, you got guys, Chicago, L.A., they sitting there fighting, killing each other off territory that majority of them don't even own one damn brick.
Not
one damn brick.
Yeah.
This is my area. This is my territory. This is my hood. Don't own one damn brick
all
over
renting.
there.
They all rent.
Come on now. Come on now.
Yeah.
How the hell can you argue that? And when you get out of that, of using common sense to say, like, look, man, what am I doing?
Right.
Why am I doing this? I ain't did nothing to him. He ain't did nothing to me. And just get out, you know, just say, look, man, what can I do to better myself?
I don't even know him.
Hey.
I don't even know him.
And you get out of there. And I think that's really what, you know, to your point you asked earlier about the people that, you know, use common sense. I just think that the greed and all the other kind of stuff, because at the end of the day, we sit here having a debate. I'm be honest with you, that whole thing with the damn Lois in London thing, I sat there and look at what's the motive behind that.
Right.
So they can start a fund that you're going to be in charge of, get some money. Because you know where in the hell you sit here, you go on the west side. The easiest thing, what everybody say, the white folks coming here buying everything, and they getting everything like that. Well, why the hell didn't you keep it? Well, they bought a house. They put these buildings up and the property taxes went up. And
Pay the property tax
come on now.
on grandma's house,
Come on now.
on mama's house.
Come on. How many of my friends that I grew up with that have just for crumbs, I feel like let the childhood homes go away. Let the childhood homes go away. Not necessarily even been greedy. A lot of it got to do, you just don't know. You don't see the value of it. But what Master P said at one time, I remember he said that when he first met those guys, I forgot what record label, they had offered him like $1 million. He turned it down. His brother asked him why he do that. And he said, man, if that man offered me that money that quick, what am I really worth?
Right.
And if a person pulls out a check so quick to offer you something, you got to sometimes think like,
What is it really worth?
yeah. Damn, you know what I'm saying? Because people know what to make you move. They know what to make you move. And
If he offered me $1 million, I might be worth 10.
yeah, but
Yeah.
you be so greedy and happy that somebody want to offer you something, you just take what you can get. And I think that, again, we go back to that whole morality thing where people say, hey, you know, this is the code or this, that, and that. Man, you got your damn mind. You got your damn mind. You got your damn mind. Ain't no damn code
Right.
or whatever and stuff. You don't sit here and tore up your damn community. You don't sit here and been a damn menace for half of your damn life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You go to jail a couple times, they ain't knocking nobody or whatever, then you come out, and now you want to call everybody else stupid. No. No.
Right.
No, that ain't how it goes. That don't mean that person's stupid, but the whole thing of it is just you have to realize that your path is what you chose, and everybody else's path is just different. And it goes back to what I was talking about with the young lady had that post earlier. That's one of the biggest problems with the black community is that we can't have an open dialogue and just agree to disagree, or in the most simplistic form. That's why I asked her, brother, what you mean by that? Explain yourself. Sister, you know, give me a little bit more with
Help
that.
me.
Instead of just saying, you a damn fool, you know, this and that, and just understanding where everybody had different viewpoints. Because, again, the way you crossed the finish line, you ran across, I jumped across, the next person slid across, other person backed up, but they did what? Crossed the finish line. And we got to respect everybody got a different way of moving. And understanding the way I move and the way you move, it's just different. Not a right or wrong, you know what I mean? And you have to have just enough common sense to know that, listen, hey, man, this just is different. But we so stuck in this is this, that is that, and we get a residual of that.
Right.
You know, because when you only think one way and just got a narrow mind, a narrow viewpoint of stuff, you limit on the stuff you can do in life. You know, and that's probably one of the issues with us. We always waiting and asking.
Instead
We
of just
always
doing.
waiting and asking. That's what we did that video about the stimulus check.
Right.
I've been waiting for somebody to say that at them DNC.
Yeah.
We got a whole front roll of funding of stimulus coming in. I guarantee you, at a Republican convention, that's going to be somebody pitch.
Right.
That's going to be somebody pitch.
We got that stimulus
Got
coming
that
in.
stimulus money coming in.
Yeah, that's
Got
the first thing he gonna say. Who else done gave y'all a stimulus package?
There you, man, come on now.
That's his first
Come on
sentence.
now. Come
Who
on
else
now.
done gave y'all $600 extra a week?
Man, come on.
Nobody but me.
Man, shoot. That folk right there and now, man. Hey, how's it going? This is Change the Live, hosted by yours truly, Deontay Burton. Tonight's show, we're talking about how we forgot to use common sense. You know, I know I done changed the title 3 or 4 times tonight, but that's the gist of it.
Common sense encompasses a lot of things.
Absolutely, and everything. Because again, I just want to have this good, this good conversation tonight, because so many things have been going on in the world lately, and the way people are making certain decisions. You know when these decisions are made, they're a decision you like, but you know it ain't necessarily the best decision.
Right.
You know, just you say, okay, look, I'm tired. I drove, go to buy the P.O. box, go buy my P.O. box Friday night. Drove by a bar in Stockbridge. When I say that whole Kroger parking lot was packed, now this place ain't so big.
Right.
So I know the whole idea of social distancing
What's not going on?
was not going on in there. There might be some social hugging, some social kissing. But that damn sure wasn't no social distancing in there. Oh no! I see them sisters coming out there sweating. Goddamn. Hair down.
say the perm is out.
Yeah. I ain't no damn social distance. Social sweating up in there. Shit. But there wasn't no distancing, no
Right.
safety, and everything. So, and you know that. You know, okay, cool. You sitting in there. You know all this stuff going on. That's your decision to make. Okay, if I'm gonna be sitting in this stuff
Right.
or not and everything. I ain't knocking nobody. But again, we start talking about just good old fashioned common sense.
Right.
You know, grandma tell you, boy, put that coat on before you go outside. You know, girl, put some socks or something on your feet. Don't wear them shoes like that. You
Right.
think about that stuff grandma used to tell you when you were younger and everything. Like, okay, cool. But we got to be cool. We got to be cute and whatever.
I used to buck them systems.
Hey, man.
I was the biggest grandma system bucker there was.
Hey, and a lot of times you get a residual with it.
Right,
a
right.
cold,
Right.
you're sick,
Right.
all kind of stuff happening to you and everything. And you know what they say? I told you, dumbass, listen to me. You're right.
Put your coat on. I know it's 32 degrees below zero in Chicago. Put your coat on. I'm wear this jacket.
Absolutely. You know, another thing we would start talking about, we're looking at common sense, reason why a lot of times people don't want to use it. That whole idea of just perception, you know, how people see you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you want to be seen as the smarter person in the room. You're a leader, you know, you got high self-esteem, and you don't want to necessarily be showed as being wrong and stuff like that. And, you know, I was thinking about something earlier today that I know me personally, I ask questions to find out if I am wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Some people say certain things just to prove they right or not get questioned. And, you know, a lot of times you have some people, they just want to be seen as, you know, the expert, the smarter person in the room. And I feel like I'm in a position where I am in life, honestly, because I ask questions.
Right.
And, anybody know me, know how tight and cheap I am. Hell, I ain't got one penny to lose. And if I can meet with as many people that can tell me how to make more money
Right.
and save as much money, I'm game.
Right.
And you got a lot of folks that just don't want to see that. I was talking to a cat yesterday. I mean, we were just talking about the different business ideas, and the consensus we both came to. I've been in business 19 years. For the past 3, I say from year 16, definitely 17 forward, everything changed when I started paying for game.
Okay.
When I say paying for game, going to $1,000 seminars, start paying more than that to get coaching
Right.
and doing that kind of stuff. Where I was like, man, that's too much damn money. And then you start seeing, like, when I went to that place out in Phoenix, and it's just not putting business out there, but to be honest, I had to pay $1,000 for a 2 weeks seminar course
Right.
for the tax business. Benefited me greatly.
Right.
Helped me out a lot. But what stuck with me, you know, it was pulling teeth for me to pay for 48 hours of instruction in the mastermind group for $1,000. But the instructor brought his coach. He
Okay.
gives this cat $20,000
Okay.
for 2 days
Okay.
of coaching.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm sitting here trying to be tightwad, but the guy that's making the money off of me, he's charging somebody, you know,
Right.
that much more. And so the thing of it is just sometimes we just look at it like, I want to be this, I want to be that, I want to be seen this, that, and that. Until you can humble yourself and look at it, you'll never be where you can be. And sometimes just come down to like, look, man, just common sense that, look, man, you doing it your way, but your way ain't working. Your way is a way, but when you start seeing like, look, man, hey, they next level, they doing this, that, and that, just pay for it. You know, people, I don't want to do that. I don't see. Okay, so like with what I do is it's been in the tax business. People call me, one of the first question they ask, how much y'all charge?
Of course.
How much y'all charge to do taxes? Now, this is the thing what we're looking at and everything. What's up, PJ? PJ was in the studio last week. He abandoned us this week. How you doing, Junior?
He ain't had time this week.
No, he ain't had time. But here's the deal. When people say, hey, one of the first questions, how much you charge?
Right.
I said, we charge you anywhere from here to here, depending on what you got or what you got going on. Oh, boy, for that? And, I always look at it like, okay, you want to pay $50, $75 for something. You finna get somebody your name, social, address, bank account, your children's address, and you want to choose the cheapest person you can? You actually gonna
So they gonna have a cybersecurity breach.
you actually gonna pay somebody $50-$75 to damn for a smooth identity theft.
Right.
Cause like you said, the next thing you know, they ain't got no kind of security or firewalls. But hell, they ain't gonna do that. They gonna sell you social.
Right.
But then you don't find any value with paying for quality or paying for it. Now, again, can that happen to anybody place? Absolutely. But it's totally different when you paying for somebody that, you know, they consciously trying to protect you from that. Or, you know, and everything. But that's the thing, people just don't value certain things. They know it might be the right thing, but they want to just go the cheap route. You know, call and get a diagnosis. Now you run to call around and get the cheapest quote. Common sense telling you, man, look, do I need to get it done the right way?
Right.
Or I want to get it done the cheapest way?
Right.
Your mind telling you, I know it's best to go to lab.
Right.
Your mind telling you, that's best to go to lab. Common sense telling you. But your purse telling you, man, I'm going to go Mr. Charlie, man.
Mr. Charlie. His sound quality might not be as good, but
Man, Mr. Charlie going to have your head like you on a, like you crumbling up paper on the mic. It's real tin can with a string.
all right.
Nowhere near and everything. And we just got to get out of that.
Right.
You know, appreciate what people bring to the table. Appreciate what people bring to the table, the skill sets, the expertise. Just appreciate what's going on with that. You know, another thing people look at in terms of just, you know, that ego mechanism and listening to folks. A lot of folks just ain't receptive to different ideas, and, you know, they just don't want to sit here and look at, you know, I focused on this and they stuck on it. And I get it. I can understand how I've been in situations where I've worked on a particular project and thought about something over and over and over, and then somebody come in with a whole different perspective. And it's not that that perspective don't make sense to me. It's just like I'm kind of pissed off. I done spent so much time protecting this way or perfecting this way, and here they come with something like that. Even when I know it sound right. Common sense tell me, like, damn, man, he got a damn point. But I'm just so damn stuck on, shit, man, I've been working on this all damn day. I only want to deal with it.
Right. Yeah.
And you got to just be realistic. That 12 or 13 hours that you done spent trying to work on that idea, even though this person just came out the blue with it, it may be the best thing. They can save you a whole lot more heartache, pain, time, money, and everything. You just got to let that ego go. Hey, man, this, you know, it's cat there. And that go back, like I said, value other people, what they bring to the table and what they say to you and everything. That ego gets you in a lot of trouble. It gets you in a lot of trouble. Like I said, that'll stomp on common sense left and right and everything. And some folks just don't want to be wrong. They just want to always be right. They always want to be that, hey, you know, I got this, I got that, I know that. Especially, you know, some of my educated sisters and brothers. Ooh. You know what's funny, man? I'm gonna say this, you know, just being in undergrad was worse. Grad school one is, you know, is bad. But you had a lot of professors that never worked in the quote unquote real world. They had went through that whole pathway of going to college, going to get a PhD, and were instructors. But they never know real world applications on how to do that. And a lot of times you got people with a lot of credentials out here, a lot of educated, they're smart people, but common sense is overrode because they actually have not did application. They know the theoretical side of it. These are the rules and this is how this is done. But just real world application, how it's done, they damn clueless on.
Right.
And because they don't have that, they just figure, I'm right, shut up.
Right.
It's the same way we got people that actually, you know, start making more money. You know, they start progressing in their job and start getting certain stuff. Because I got a house, I got a car, that make me right. You know, it make you got a house and a car, you got a job, you got an income level, you can afford it.
Right.
You know, they think they start putting some money in the bank and they put money in their 401k. Now they're investors. So then they start giving out ideas. You know, you need to buy this stock or buy that stock. Okay, telling you what you should be doing and everything. And they really don't know.
Right.
They're just in a more comfortable situation.
And they've been lucky a little bit.
There you go. Lucky a lot of bit.
Right.
And they've made certain acquisitions and did certain things in life. And it ain't really came and, you know, bit them in the butt, you know, and everything. What's up, DL? Boy, they're alone. But that's one of the things that a lot of people just don't want to come to grip. Like, hey, man, I might have just been lucky. As opposed to I know what the hell I'm doing.
Right.
And that's a lot. That go a lot with a lot of smart folks. You know what I'm saying? Just they don't use. You know, older people say a lot. Not that. I think half of that is maybe jealousy. Some would be legitimate, where they say, you know, you got books and you got common sense. And I think that was just sometimes people that actually weren't educated might be a jealous statement, but also it was a damn fair observation. You know, and everything, just to say, hey, what's going on? But you do have a lot of people out here that are very, very smart, but they just don't sit there and look at stuff just from a practical manner. Like, nah, man, that don't make sense to do that. You know, I get what you're saying it costs, but, you know, you can look at it on this bare surface. This car costs this car go that. But we ain't sitting there looking at the other things. You know, these materials from this country, they have a better, you know, the car lasts longer.
Right.
Even though it cost, you know, it may cost a little bit more, but you get more value with this and everything. It lasts 10 years more as the one that's cheaper.
Right.
That ride the same miles per hour or everything, but you get more value in what you're putting into it. Those kind of thought processes, a lot of times people just don't even go. They're just looking at how much it costs,
Right.
color,
No
and everything.
variables or nothing.
Exactly, and stuff. So that, you know, that's very, very, very dangerous because, unfortunately and fortunately, to an extent, a lot of people in our leadership, they're educated people, but a lot of them don't have no damn common sense. And the man that has $1 million in the bank, they got to make decisions for people that don't have $1 in the bank. It's kind of scary because a lot of times they just looking at it is how they got theirs,
Right.
and you ain't got yours, and you should have it.
Because he
And
got
not-
his.
Exactly, and like you said, not taking in automotive variables that can dictate why and why not. You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing I think a lot of times people miss out on. Again, this is Change Lives, hosted by yours truly, Deontay Burden. Tonight's show we're talking about have people forgot to use common sense, or why don't we use common sense? It's been a great discussion and everything we're doing, and we're just going through a couple of items that can cause people not to use common sense. Also, make sure you go to the YouTube channel, Change the Live, hosted by yours truly, Deontay Burden, where we got over 200 videos where we're talking about motivational, personal development, and professional development. Got a lot of great videos on there, so make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the Facebook channel, follow me on IG at Deontay_77. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at Majestic Biz. As I always, remember, all links to everything are listed on the bottom of the YouTube video, so you can go follow everything from there, so you got no way of missing anything. Also, as a tidbit, and I'll bring it up later, my first funnel that I put out, how to beat procrastination. I'll give you guys information on how to get a hold of that funnel. It will change your life, okay? But we'll get back to that, you know, we're nearing the end of the show. The next thing I want to go back, and we're talking about factors that can kind of cause people to not use common sense, is the issue of greed. Well, you know, you put your desires, you know, before the rights of others, and how you feel about what you feel is more important. And I think that's one of the biggest catalysts of what's going on right now. People worried about losing their damn money. Now, because you do have a good segment of people, especially the business owners right now, man, we got to stay open. Look, I'm about to lose everything I work for, and I don't look at that as being greed.
Right.
But I do look
practical.
Exactly.
Realistic.
Exactly. What I look at being greed when you got $100 in the bank and now your $100 went down to 75, you act like you about to have a stroke.
Right.
And now you got all these people down on Wall Street. We got to open up. We got to do this. We got to do that. I lost $25 million, and I got 75 in there, and it's going to hell, you know.
There's 75 million in it. And I just bought this house in the Hamptons for 110 million. And I just got to get it together.
Man, I tell you, I looked at a Lifetime movie the other night. Man, that lady just made one mention. She was gonna take one thing. He was just like, "Well, look, man, let's just go out in the lake." Now the white man, they ain't even trying to let you take $1. Let's go and ride to the lake. Yeah. Boop, boop. Them duck tater, throw overboard. She want to take $100,000 of my $5 million? No. Let's go on a boat ride.
Swimming with the fish.
Man, shit. And white men, they don't play.
Right.
You ain't taking nothing. So let's go on a boat ride. Okay, sure. She packing lunches and shit. He putting ropes and duct tape. Ain't no common sense. He just think about his damn money. Shit, she gonna take a piece of my money?
A piece of it.
He was getting there.
Corner.
Hey, you getting every damn thing together. Hey, honey, you want some mayonnaise on your sandwich? Sure. He started putting that. Every damn thing you name them. Like he damn MacGyver or something. He gonna tie her head up. Soon as she turn her head on that boat, boop.
Right.
Yeah, get him, man. That was something to see. But that greed is something else. But and the last thing I want to just bring up in terms of, you know, one of the things that push people without using common sense, and I think this is very, very important, and I think it's kind of probably, you know, touched all of us, and that being fear. You know, just being realistic if something's just true, if it can happen or not. I think we go so much into the what ifs and everything. We be worried bugs in life, and we just forget about, damn, man, look, shit, man, you know, it ain't gonna be the end of the world. You lost $1, you be okay,
Right.
you know, and everything. I think with the pandemic happening though, that did bring a lot of stuff that because I don't think none of us figured that we'd be out here walking around in masks and doing all the kind of stuff we doing now and stuff like that.
Distancing.
Yeah, exactly. It did change us in a lot of ways, but it also has probably shifted us in a way, you know, probably I think where everybody's been a lot more cold to each other because you had to be protective of yourself. And I think some of the fears that we've had, not what I'm saying in terms of protecting yourself from getting sick, but just worried about certain things that you just totally just forgot about with common sense. Like, hey man, you know, we got to do when it first started. What was everybody talking about? They weren't talking about really the social distance. They were about damn martial law. Martial law. You had the George Floyd going on. Everybody talking about, you know, gun ammoing up and everything. I ain't been in one damn firefight in their life. I do want to get this disclaimer as a U.S. Army disabled veteran, marksman, 40 out of 40, Hawkeye marksman. It ain't the same as shooting at no piece of paper as shooting at a person. Right. I'm just letting you know. I know you got skills at the range.
Right.
I know you do.
Right.
But it ain't the same when that hot leg coming at your ass. It ain't
when they
the
shoot
same.
back.
It ain't the same. You moving, heart rate elevated, you moving and all that stuff. Yeah. It ain't the same. I just want to let you know. It ain't the same. I'm telling you, that damn paper.
Don't shoot back.
Oh, shit. That
and
paper.
It don't dip and dodge.
Oh, man. And you know, you at the range, you might got your wine and your cheese, and it's an event. You know, at the range, you know what I'm saying? It's an experience. Y'all dating. You know, your man standing behind you. He hunch it. You hunch it back. You shooting and he jerking back. It ain't the same.
Okay.
It ain't the same. I told you I went to that military retirement party, and I told me everybody in that mall was shaking and stuff. 84 kills, 75 kills. Why, they were real killers? Shit. Real heroes? Right. No, it ain't the same. Okay. That paper, oh, no. That paper give you a false sense of security.
Okay.
Like I said, you know, so, you know, again, that whole fear factor, I think you have a lot of people just, sometimes, hey, man, stop. Just think for a second. And I ain't saying don't be cautious, don't be aware, because I really push being prepared and being aware and being proactive, but don't let fear overcome your common sense. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, again, sometimes people, especially when they're dealing with stuff with their job, and what if they gonna do this and da. You'll let somebody at your job mistreat you or mishandle you, and you don't want to sit there and open your mouth as a proud woman or a proud man, and you just like, you so fearful of that job, you can go get another job.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can go get you another significant other. You can go get you another car. You can get you another house. You sitting there breaking your neck to keep something that you really can't afford to keep, and it ain't appreciating you no more, no better.
Right.
But you sitting there like, I don't want nobody to know I ain't got no money.
Right.
I don't want nobody to know it. Yeah, shit.
Hell yeah.
Shit. No, man, no. I'm gonna tell you something. Share this one story before we end the show, and I was just thinking about myself, man. It kind of had me reflecting, you know. I remember 12-year-old Poochie. I probably about 10 or 11. We broke it. We were poor hell, man. And I used to say cans. And I remember getting on the 50 Bankhead, going up. It was like a recycle place up by Bowen Homes.
Okay.
And I have you about, bullshit now. I have about 7 or 8 bags full of Coca-Cola and beer cans, stinking like hell. I got on the bus to go up to the place to turn in. So I'm sitting on the bus here with my funky cans. You know, you get on the bus, everybody moving over.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm proud Poochie. I'm sitting there thinking like, damn, I get about 10, 12. Yeah, you know. Go in there, get my little $12 proud, is I don't know what.
Right.
no one ain't got no money.
Right.
My buddies and they laughing at, hey boy, you for go sell them cans or whatever. Yeah. No one ain't had no money, so decided to go get me some money. I done
Right.
saved the cans out. My grandma used to dip, so I gotta wash her spick. Oh Lord,
No,
all this stuff.
no.
I'm going everywhere getting cans. Hey, look here, look here. A can is a can is a can is a can. Okay, but
I would left that can, Pooch.
shit. Let me tell you something,
My grandma never used to dip snow too.
bro. Let me tell you something. I share this story to say that I was totally numb to how people looked at me, and I look at getting that $12, and I can tell you, 30 years later, I still would say them same fucking game
Right.
if I had to, and I think that probably would have me cut a little different from everybody else. I ain't give a damn,
Mm-hmm.
and I was sitting there, and it was one of them stories my buddy was joking with me about the other day, and I had totally forgot about it. But in my mind, like, shit, I know in my mind there was no embarrassment. I was
never
counting.
is when you need the money.
Man, I don't even necessarily know if I need the money because hell, I might have 12, and I'm looking at next week going back up there. That was just me how I move.
Right.
I didn't care. I'm cutting grass, saving cans. That's just how I move. I could be done stacked up $100 just saving it. I'm still moving like that. I'm the same damn way. But it stuck with me just saying that there were people who didn't have no money that wouldn't consider doing that. Whereas I know I had some change in my pocket as a kid.
Right.
It didn't matter to me.
Exactly.
It didn't matter. I just remember they getting on the bus and everybody looking at me and moving. And a bunch of little stinking ass cans. Everybody looking at me, they moving over and everything. But in my mind, common sense wasn't going to have me sitting there like, man, I ain't got no money.
Right.
You know, just like, no, you know, and everything. And it just, no, I'm going to go get that money. If you know, pride can't be that impactful on you.
Right.
It can't be. And if you sit there and know that you're in a situation where you need help and you can't find help, and help is centered around you making a situation, don't you sit your ass there and just wait for, you know, to fall out the sky.
Right.
You know, don't wait to do that. Do everything you can possible to make sure that you can do for yourself. You can't be too prideful to go out there and wash no cars, paint no house, or do what you whatever. I seen a little documentary, Master P, where he had the first time to get a studio. Dude said, hey, man, he said, man, I ain't got no money. I'll paint your house. So he went to paint the house. Dude came out there like he was messing the house up.
Right.
He said, stop. He said, because that young man was just so willing to do anything.
Right.
I just went on and let him go and record something.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. Don't get off your hustle because of pride, because of fear, because of
What
you know,
somebody gonna say.
negative perception, whatever. Don't do that. Common sense. You know what you need to damn do. Don't you sit there and have no damn stroke trying to keep that car, keep that house, keep that woman a man because you worried about what people gonna say about
Right.
you. You out your damn mind. Ain't no way in the hell you need to go through that. And if far too many people out here doing that kind of stuff, well, it's just like, you know what's right, you know what's wrong. Now, I ain't saying it's easy. I ain't saying embarrassment don't affect you or don't feel it, so when I get that. I'm not saying that.
Mm-hmm.
But as opposed to the opposite, hell no. Hell no, man. I had a partner of mine, his ass had that damn Bell's palsy.
Okay.
I woke up and whole damn face in his lap. You ever see that the thing, you know, stroke, you know, stress induced?
Uh-huh.
You never seen that before?
No.
Just one side of your face that go, you know, it comes back
Oh, okay.
after a while.
Okay.
But you the stress induced, just wake
Okay.
up and the
Face
shit just
down.
hanging.
Okay.
And you're like, what the hell? Worrying about keeping the car, doing this, that, and that. Like, man, look, the money you paying for that car that you really can't enjoy, you can go get you a little damn, I forgot, like a little, not the Focus or Festiva. What was our early, late 20s or something, I think a little Festiva. He couldn't see himself in no Festiva. He would roll around a little caddy in a little coupe,
Right.
but it was killing him.
Can't catch you no festival.
There you go. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can.
Women ain't talking to you in no festival.
Yeah, you can.
They'll
Yeah, you
talk to you in
can.
that Mercedes
Yeah, you can. Yeah,
while
you
you
can.
living with your mama, but
Yeah,
they
you
ain't gonna
can.
talk in that festival while you living in that 9-bedroom house.
Man, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something right now. Festiva beat out Marty any day.
Was it Chevy Chevette?
Yeah,
Beat out-
man, let me tell you. I just had that Chevette packed up like, hey, and I'm one of my partners.
Right.
Shit, you thought we come from the Soul Circus, all them clowns popping out.
That should,
Hey.
that should be packed full,
Hey,
right?
hey, with the partners or the ladies, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. We were gonna get in there, and I'm talking about I had 4 in the back, 3 in the hatch, and you lapped up in the front. And if we had to, you might got to sit down on the gear shift.
So it would drag the
Yeah,
ground.
and if you were pretty enough, I might have you rotate a little bit, put a little bit of that tail on while I'm driving the car. Shit. Hey, I was a no-limit soldier before the tank.
Right.
So here, that folks Steven, hell, you know, all them girls I be seeing out there with their boyfriends out there at the bus stop, hot. Think they ain't gonna get in that Chevette? I'm blowing. Hey, you know the air. Hey, you know when the air cool, that little tree.
Yeah.
On the river, you just blowing
it away.
and they stand out there at that bus stop. Especially right there, like a Greenbrier, when it be about 10 of them and everything at that bus stop.
Right.
We talking about common sense now. Your man got you right there at that bus stop, you know, the benches there. I'm right there in my Chevette. That little tree just blowing in the air. Cool out, and I'm just sitting there like that. I got my 8-ball pumping and everything. Come on here, man. Come on now.
There you have it.
Hey, you have it. Oh, buddy. Man, hey, I'll bring it back home. We'll meet you at Oakland City. Tales from the Pooch. Oh, boy, man. Hey, man, I had a blast tonight and everything. You know, this is Change Live, hosted by yours truly, Deontay Burton. Our show was, you know, did we forget about common sense or how to use common sense? I had a blast tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. And again, please, last and most importantly, use common sense. You know, we start making decision making. We joked about it, we talked about it, but like Lab asked, is it prevalent and stuff? I really can't say, to be totally honest with you. But I would hope that people are using good judgment and making decisions in this day and age, because it's so dangerous out there not to be using and basing your decision making on things that probably aren't the most wisest to base them on. So again, go to check us out at Change Your Lives. See us on YouTube and Facebook at Change Your Lives, hosted by yours truly, Deontay Burton. Make sure you subscribe to both channels. Share, like all the videos, hit the bell on the YouTube channel so you can get all future notifications of any shows coming out. Follow me on Instagram or IG at Deontay_77, or follow me at Twitter at MajesticBiz on Twitter. Also, guys, you know, if you look on the video link about, I put out my first sales funnel where we're talking about how to help you guys start stop procrastination. We got a lot of people that are starting and stopping or be putting stuff off for years. I gave my whole blueprint on how to not procrastinate or how to stop procrastination in life. So make sure you hit that link on the YouTube video. It's on all of them and everything on how to stop procrastination. That'll take you to my video that gives you the whole blueprint on how to do that. And also, if you're interested, I also give a discount on personal one-on-one coaching. So just check that. All that link is provided on the YouTube channel. So you got to go check it out on YouTube. You'll see the link there on how to stop procrastination. Got a lot more information coming down the pike. And I'm just blessed and happy that you guys, give me the opportunity to share it with you. Also, don't forget, next week there will be no show next week. No show next week. But again, it don't matter. We got enough videos to keep you busy, for the next 2 or 3 weeks, okay? Again, it's Change the Live, hosted by yours truly. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the show. Love you guys. Be safe out there and take care.